We've had wild spoilers today. A lot of great cards were spoiled, and there were a lot of questionable cards like usual. However, we have a ton of cards that were mythics that have been downshifted to rare. These spoilers are wild. Let's take a look at all the Commander Masters spoilers that we've got today. Okay, let's take a look at these spoilers from today. Let's scroll down to where we left off from the last time we're taking a look at these spoilers. So here we go. Some really interesting cards that we're going to talk about today. Oh my goodness. So let's start it off with Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. This was the most expensive card in the Battle for Zendikar set. Will it remain the most expensive card? I mean, there's not a lot of cards apart from the expeditions that are actually in that set that are very expensive. So I can see this still being a very expensive card. I mean, will it really get in the hands of players that need it? Will it still be really expensive? Single mythics tend to hold a little more value, obviously, than the rares. And speaking of rares, we have a lot of mythics that have been downshifted to rare. Now we have Grenzo, Havoc Razor here, Mangara the Diplomat, and at one point, I believe this was a mythic, Zetalpa Primal Dawn as well from the Ixalan block. We got Hammer of Nazan here. Great card. This is the etched foil treatment. Pure Steel Paladin. This is an interesting card to see here. This is the borderless treatment here. Obviously, this is a good rare. Great for any sort of equipment deck. You can actually see this in Modern. We have Yisan the Wandering Bard here. Queen Marchesa. Now, this is interesting. This was a mythic. This is one of the cards I was talking about that was downshifted to a rare. How many times has this card been printed in the last 3 years? This card is the etched treatment, and we've already had an etched treatment for Queen Marchesa, but we're getting it again. This used to be like a $50 mythic in Conspiracy to Take the Crown, and now I expect this rare to probably go down to sub $5 if it's not already there, to be honest. Vandal Blast, great uncommon, getting a reprint. And then we have Balin, Wandering Knight as well. We actually had this reprinted in Jumpstart as an anime style card, and that card held some good value for a while. Heliod, Sun-Crowned, great god. I actually think this is a great inclusion, so I'm happy with this one. It is one of the best white commander cards. And speaking of a card that is great, the Great Henge. And this card was literally just printed in the Lord of the Rings set called the Party Tree. It was one of the box toppers that you can get. There's also a Surge Foil version of this. I was kind of surprised, and this is why, like, when I speculate on the way that they actually put out their sets, obviously they do a lot of things in advance, but I'm wondering if it's like they're just different parties clashing, where it's like, hey, we have some ideas for reprints, we're gonna throw this in here. It's like, hey, but we just had it in this last set. Can we wait maybe a year? And then the other party is like, no, because we already have a date set. I don't really know how this works, but it's just weird that you actually get the Great Henge and then the next set that literally is released, you have it reprinted again. It's just odd. It's just very odd timing. And now we actually have some other good cards here. Reliquary Tower, a very useful card. Smothering Tithe, another really expensive card that is getting the reprint. And we just got this, I think, in the Double Masters set. Teferi Temporal Archmage as well. Treasure Napper, actually a really good card. And then we have a freaking bomb uncommon, Ashnod's Altar. I'm happy to see this here. It's been a while, but usually when an uncommon gets really expensive, you shouldn't hold on to it that long. You know it's going to get the reprint like this right here. And then, of course, we have Doubling Season. Pretty expensive card, sitting at about $79 right now. This is a card that definitely needed a reprint, but it is a mythic. You know, it's been reprinted a lot of times at either mythic or rare, but they went with mythic for this set. Ogre Slumlord, Flawless Maneuver. We knew we were going to get that whole cycle from the Commander set into the set as well. Toxic Deluge, a great card. We actually had this in the original Double Masters. Reprinted again, now we get an etched treatment of it as well. Gilded Lotus, interesting card to see here, but it's a mana rock. A lot of mana rocks are used in Commander. We have another card that was printed in the Portal set, Sun Quan, Lord of Wu. Wow. Yeah, so if you are holding on to Portal 3 Kingdom cards, and unless you're collecting them, be aware any good card in that set is going to get the reprint. It's looking more evident by the day as we see reprints like this. Accentuate, a great uncommon, but yeah, it was like a $9 uncommon. It's probably going to go down to like $2 or $3, maybe even less. It's a great card in Commander though. We have Deflecting SWAT, a very expensive reprint, so I'm happy to see that there. Cradle Hoof Behemoth. Wow, talk about an expensive mythic. This one will definitely go down in price, but it's probably a needed reprint, to be honest. You need cards like this to actually maintain the box price, and I think that's kind of the direction Wizards is going with this. They're obviously aware of the secondary market, and they need to pump as much value in a set as possible. I was worried the first few days. It definitely is shaping up to be a little bit of a better set, but there's still a lot of questionable things. Runescar, Demon here, Yuriko, the Tiger Shadow, originally from a Commander set. And then we also got Arachnogenesis, a card that's been going up a lot because of cards like Shelob from Lord of the Rings. And so we're getting a lot of like Spider tribal decks, Days Undoing, originally from the Magic Origins set. And then we got Avacyn, Angel of Hope, which is a very expensive card. I think the most recent massive reprint was in the Double Master set. Of course, this is like the angel for Commander, apart from Giada, Font of Hope. But when it comes to expensive, mythic, legendary creatures, this is probably the one people think of the most. Really excited to see that in this set, to be honest. Reality Shift, a card that was from Fate Reforged, and it was an uncommon. It's an uncommon in this set. They didn't downshift it or anything like that. We have Razzleketh, the Foul-Blooded, which is a great card here. It's actually pretty expensive, sitting at about $16.42. It was more expensive at one point, but it's still a card that is interesting that they kept this as a mythic, but then they've downshifted other mythics, which I will show you a little bit later here. Darksteel Mutation, Teysa Karlov, again, this is a card that we knew was in the set for a while now. We have Stonehoof Chieftain, and then we have Marin of Clan Nel Toth, with obviously the side profile Commander shot, because that's what they're doing with this set. We have Twilight Prophet, Vampire Cleric, which is remaining a mythic. And then you have Miri, Weatherlight Duelist. Talrand, Sky Summoner, very cheap card. Interesting that they're choosing this as one of their cards that they're going to actually put in the treatment, but I guess all legendary creatures are going to have this treatment as well, and there's going to be a lot of them in this set. And with Grave Pact, of course, they were going to upshift it to a mythic. It seems to be the thing that they've been doing. If any rare that's like $25+, they're going to upshift it into a mythic, and that's exactly what this price point is here. Look, $28 for this card. And then we have Godama's Reach, a great common to include in this set. Steel Shaper's Gift here. We have Rankle from Throne of Eldraine in here. Purpho's God of the Forge, probably one of the best red commanders out there. Tooth and Nail, another great card that's sitting at about $16, but it's been going down for a while. And the most interesting inclusion that I saw from today that was downshifted from a mythic, one of the most expensive cards in the Ixalan block, Sakama Primal Calamity. That was shocking to see. Now, if you look at the price right here, it is about an $18 mythic, and it's one of the reasons why some of those older boxes in the Ixalan block, specifically Rivals of Ixalan, is expensive. So crazy to see that being downshifted to a rare. But let me know what you think about the spoilers from today. Did you enjoy the spoilers? Do you think that the set has been redeemed based on all the spoilers we got recently? Because it definitely looks like a lot better of a set than we had in the previous few days. But it's just also weird to see a lot of these cards being shifted around from mythic to rare to rare to mythic. And I wonder how they come to these conclusions. Do they look at the secondary market when it comes to this stuff? Is this something that they use to like see where the ceiling is for a box price? What people are willing to pay? I find it interesting that they're going to make this card into a rare from mythic, because I feel like if they're going to do that, then why shift some of the rares from rare to mythic, like Grave Pact? I don't know. It just feels really weird the way they even come up with this. But let me know what you think about it down below in the comment section. With that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Use promo code Mattcaster for 5% off your order at Face to Face Games, Canada's largest Magic the Gathering store. Qualified orders get free shipping Canada-wide if you use our promo code Mattcaster at checkout. Whether you're buying singles or sealed product, use our code to support the show and get a discount.